$100,000 per Bitcoin? It was a meme, a joke that was thrown around in the early days. No one really thought it was possible, but the future is a funny thing. Since the early days, BTC has surged past its old all-time high of 20K, and that number now doesn't seem so far out of reach. People are talking about 100K like it's going to happen. So will it? We'll find out in about 10 minutes because it's time for Chico Crypto. So I've been around Bitcoin and the crypto markets in some form since late 2013. My first purchase of BTC was around $200. And after that first purchase, I saw it rocket up to $1,200 in the matter of a few months. I got involved at the perfect time during the 2013 Parabolic. It was crazy euphoric, and it made me realize BTC can do some very unthinkable things price-wise very quickly. But I also held all the way back down to nearly where I bought and went through that brutal bear market where the price looked dead in the water. So I also understood very early on it can do the complete opposite too. Then 2017 and that 20K peak and its following bear market came and it did the exact same thing, more than reinforcing my views, which means this is my second 4-year cycle. From just $200, I've seen Bitcoin Parabolic to 1.2K, fall back to 200, reclaim that high of 1.2K, reach new parabolic highs of 20K, fall all the way down to 3K, and then once again reclaim its old all-time high of 20K, all within the span of just 7 years. That's a lifetime of market movements in any other asset class, but for BTC, it happens in just 7 years. But even since the big break of 20K, things are showing signs of parabolic. In just 11 days since, BTC has surged, breaking 27K to the upper levels and even breaking 28K on some exchanges yesterday. The higher the price goes, the less significant these market movements look on the surface. But if you do the math, from 20K to 28K is a 40% increase since December 16th, the day of the break, that 20K one. That is significant. You break it down, that's nearly a 4% price increase per day. If Bitcoin kept that price up all of 2020, that would put Bitcoin's peak price of over $300,000 by the end of 2021. But even I don't think that will happen. Although the 100K mark, yes, I do think that can happen in the next parabolic run, or I wouldn't have made video after video with that number as a headline for the past 2.5 years. So I've been saying around 100K would be this cycle's peak for the longest time. So don't you other YouTubers try and take that away from me. Don't worry, they will. But if it does happen, when will it happen? Is 2021 the year of smashing 10K level after 10K level up on the way to 100K? Well, we have to break 30K first, then we have 7 more 10K levels to break in just 12 months. That means every 1 month and about 3 weeks, BTC needs to move on average by $10,000. It can be more some months, it can be less. It just needs to average to 10, which is very significant price movements in the scope of things. Looking at the all-time price chart, we can see it took nearly 9 years for Bitcoin to claim its first 10K from 0 to 10. But then to claim the next 10K from 10 to 20, it only took 6 months to reach it, but officially cross it, it really took about 3 years. So based on this pattern, 9 years to claim the first 10K level, 3 years to claim the second. The third 10K level, 30K, would take 1/3 of 3 years, 1 year to be officially breached, which would mean 30K will be broken in December of 2021? Well, we are super close to that already, so I would throw that pattern right out the door. But with those price movements, the pattern of the price moving on average of 10K every month and 3 weeks looks more realistic. So if it happens, when and how? Well, there are some significant events throughout 2021 which could help the price on that path. One I've been covering for some time, shrouded in what I call controversy, the Coinbase IPO. So, since I've been covering it, when do I expect the IPO to happen? Well, if you haven't noticed, things are getting prepared for it. December 17th, Coinbase officially files for the IPO. December 23rd, Jay Clayton announces resignation as chairman of the SEC. You want to know what happened the day before this? A person just below Jay at the SEC, a commissioner, Eli Roisman, put out this post. Statement on NYSE primary direct listing proposal, and in it he was fully supporting the NYSE's rule change for direct listing IPOs. Elad said, "While many aspects of our equity markets have long benefited from innovation, innovation has managed to elude to any significant extent the primary offering process until today. NYSE's proposal would provide an alternative means for companies listed on their exchange to raise equity capital in our public markets. I support the approval of the exchange's proposed rule change." So December 23rd, he resigns. Jay, guess who announced they're taking over chairman for Jay Clayton? The one who fully supports what the NYSE is doing, Elad Roisman. And if you didn't know, Coinbase is rumored to be one of the first to take this route with the new rule change for direct listings. And the NYSE has been testing just a short few months ago with big traders the direct listing process. And the NYSE is an early investor in that old Coinbase. So if you didn't know, like Ron Paul would say, it's happening. Which, if you look deep into law school's own blogs on the topic posted just 5 days ago, they know it's happening too. The Columbia Law School's blog on corporations and the capital markets gave their lowdown, and at the end they said this: primary direct listings might appeal to unicorns, which have long track records of being able to raise large sums of capital from private markets. Such listings can provide liquidity to employees and early investors, and as we can see above, they call unicorns startups valued at over $1 billion. Well, Coinbase's king unicorn as a startup the last time they did a funding round in 2018 was valued at $8 billion. And over 2 years have passed, so what's it worth today, pre-IPO? Well, Mazzari Research put out a model and explanation and valued Coinbase pre-IPO and post-IPO filing at $28 billion. Those are just predictive figures for today, nothing set in stone. Coinbase, based on funding rounds, is worth $8 billion today. But those predictive figures from Mazzari show how hyped this one will be. And when the IPO does go live on the NYSE, $100 billion valuation or more, not out of the realm of possibility. So when, Tyler, when? When is the Coinbase IPO? Tell us now. Well, in my opinion, Coinbase and those involved will try to time the crypto markets. And looking back at the last hype cycle year in 2017, there were pretty much 4 significant pumps throughout the year. One in December 2016 through January 2017, kind of like today, then in March 2017, then in the summer of 2017, and finally Parabolic at the end of the year. Well, Coinbase isn't going to wait till the end of the year, so it's got to be either sometime around March or in the summer. Now, I don't know if Business Insider has some information we don't have, but they said this: following speculation from a few months ago, the US-based crypto giant has filed to go public early next year per its blog post. Not mid, but early. So me thinks it's coming around March 2021. And that's in just 3 short months. But in that time, what will happen? Well, I predict a short sell-off in January for BTC, but it will not be long and BTC will suddenly start to rebound, crossing 30K late January, and then in February, we get the news. The official date of the Coinbase IPO. It's in March, thus 40K. It will be breached the month of February, and then up to 50K, possibly past it, near 60K, depending on what the share price of Coinbase is doing in March when it goes live. When it goes live, in my opinion, it's going to be doing wild things because of the IPO direct listing process. The early investors, they don't have lockups, nor do the employees of Coinbase who hold the shares. So it's going to be hot. It's going to be wild. And because of this, we are going to have a big correction in the BTC price, as well as the coin shares in the first week or 2 of trading. March into April is going to be intense if things play out exactly like they are looking. The price of Bitcoin may go down to 40K or even the high 30Ks. But if things play out like I predict, after the Coinbase IPO hype, we will have 8 months to go from 40K to get to that 100K mark. Will it happen by December 2021? Well, one thing will be certain. For the first time, there will officially be a piece of crypto within Wall Street. Will Coinbase shares follow the Bitcoin price, or will Bitcoin follow the coin shares price? Which that would officially mean BTC is following the stock market. If that is true, will Wall Street pump it to 100K by December 2021? Me thinks so. Cheers, I'll see you next time.